make tens of thousands of dollars every single day, and this is what my typical day looks like. So first of all, every single day is a little bit different. Like Mondays is a formal day. It's the only day I'll go in office. My studio's there, and basically I'm making videos that day. I'm meeting with the team. But then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I work from home. And on those days, I do work. I'm mostly doing private equity deals. I'm looking at partnerships. I'm furthering some of my companies. And so that's pretty much what I do between like 9 and 5 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wednesday is my wife's day. This is where we're gonna take the day and we're gonna go somewhere in the world. We might take my jet, go literally do Disneyland for a day, or we might go hit the redwood forest and hang out with the trees, or see some other really cool site. My wife has a passion for crystals, but basically it's a day for us to connect with each other because, you know, next to God, she's like my number one on this planet. Friday is my kids' day, and so I prioritize field trips, time with them, connecting with them. Saturday is my day where I'm out there to play and have fun, do what I want, and then Sunday is God's day. It's usually a day of rest, it's a day of calm, it's a day of recuperation. Now let's dive in just a little bit on like what is actually going down, because Monday through Friday, I have a routine that starts at 4 a.m. and goes to 9 a.m. that is like the most important part of my life. When I get up at 4 a.m., the first thing I do is I put on a good book, an audiobook, and I am reading on double speed, something for like 20 minutes. And the purpose is just to put information in my head. By then I've gone to the gym, my wife is there with me, and we're getting on our treadmills to do our cardio, but we're also doing our cardio at the same time that we're doing a live meditation. So we both have earphones on, we're listening to that type of meditation music, and what we're doing is we're having conversations with God. We're getting into a deeply connective meditative space to connect with our higher selves. Those 30 minutes are for me the most precious 30 minutes of my life. After that, it's time to lift weights for about an hour. I've got some buddies that will join me or my personal trainer, and we're gonna hit the weight super, super hard. Then at 7 a.m., it's time for me and my wife. This is us time. This is where we're gonna get together. This is where we're gonna have a meaningful conversation, or we're gonna do some planning for the day, or we're just taking time to be, to cuddle. Maybe we're doing a little bit more than cuddling, but it's really time for us to connect. And then the last hour of the day between 8 and 9, that's with my kids. And that's where my wife and I are making breakfast, we're sitting around the table together, and we like to have some of these conversations on life's lessons. That routine, Monday through Friday, is unchangeable. Doesn't matter where I'm going in the world. One of the benefits of owning a private jet is that I own my time and I own my life. And it means that I don't have to leave and get to an airport when TSA or some flight company tells me that I need to. If it's a Monday morning, my CEO actually drives to my house. He doesn't live far from me, and pulls out my Gladiator. This is my apocalypse vehicle that has my 50 caliber Mod Deuce mounted to the top of it. Yes, it is a real gun. And basically he drives for me. It's very kind of him, but he knows that I'm gonna be on my text, or we're gonna be having some business conversations. When it comes to the evenings, I don't like to have things planned. I mean, the main reason why I wanted to achieve a certain level of financial success was so that I could get my time back and work more part-time and really put my energy into my family, because my family is what I really care about. I'm also prioritizing my health. I'm also prioritizing my marriage. And none of those things happen when your work life owns you. Part of my life is also being on stage. Last week I just got back from a 4-day event. I own an event center here in Provo, Utah. It's about 40 minutes south of Salt Lake. We had hundreds of people fly in from around the country. We had a number of internationals. And during those 4 days, we were doing real estate training, we were doing mergers and acquisitions, business training, I was doing a lot of psychology training, really teaching people how successful people think. And then my events are very experiential, which means we are not just sitting lecture style taking notes, we're actually getting out of our seats and we're doing some crazy activities. I think that doing activities that push people out of their comfort zones is one of my specialties. It's something I enjoy doing, because part of creating a life-changing experience cannot come from information. It comes from transformation, and transformation only happens when you challenge someone's belief system, or when you challenge the way that they think and you invite them to level it up massively. So it's not uncommon for me to have people do board breaks or arrow breaks on their throat, or glass walks, fire walks. These experiences are all about bringing up fear, inadequacy, limiting beliefs, not believing that you're enough, and then challenging those thoughts and getting people to do some crazy stuff that if they can do that, maybe their limiting beliefs just aren't that real. The other thing that we do that is pretty important to our family is we take several mission trips. Last year, I was in Ukraine 3 times. I was in Mexico 2 times. We're gonna be in a couple months in Guatemala twice. You know, I feel fortunate that with the wealth I've been able to create in my life, that it's not just all about me and spending it on my family and just creating memories. It's like, okay, well, we have sufficient for our needs. We're creating amazing life memories. What else would be meaningful? I don't know if I've ever done anything more meaningful than meaningful service. Changing lives is one thing, but saving lives is altogether different. You know, last year in Ukraine, I found myself in a Jeep flying into this neighborhood where homes were being blown up from indirect fire, and we were rescuing these 12 people, families, out of this neighborhood and bringing them to safety. We didn't know, by the way, that it was gonna be that hot. We didn't know that we were gonna be that danger close. That's just what the circumstance of that particular day looked like. But I have to tell you, it was so meaningful to help these people come to safety that were afraid of losing their life and honestly may have. So the reason why I have this lifestyle is because I've perfected work-life balance. Like, that's kind of crazy, Kris. How do you do that? What made all this possible was investing in real estate. I use a strategy where money is passive, right? It started with things like 401ks and IRAs or equity in a home, and I learned to put that into high-performing real estate where we can average 25 or 30 or 35% a year on our money. That means that money is doubling every 2 or 3 years. That means that over time, people are actually building a multi-million-dollar portfolio that enables a lifestyle like this. Let me, and especially my team, work for you to free up your time so that you can live this lifestyle too. By the way, if real estate is kind of new to you and you're like, I don't know what you mean by real estate. You mean becoming a realtor? No, I'm talking about becoming an investor. And you don't need a ton of money to literally set yourself in time financially free. And if you really don't know what that means, I've got the ultimate guide for investing right here. Click this video, let me show you how.